you today?
Hi.
Hi. How's everyone?
Good.
Good. Everyone is not in this room yet. Missing a couple. The bells are normal today, which is a huge relief.
I'm sad because I couldn't
The
get
bells,
it
the bells are normal. I will be right back. I'm just going to fill up my water bottle. Sorry that took so long. There was a student getting water and taking an intentionally long time. All right, but that's okay because we have two more folks joining us. Let me get this attendance in. Good news, today is an easy day for you guys. And I don't think we'll take the whole time. Oh, just kidding. David's not virtually present. David's really present. Okay. So tomorrow we have our vocab quiz on the rhetorical terms. It almost feels wrong calling it a vocab quiz because it's a very specific type of vocab. But it is vocab. So we're going to do a couple of reviews for it. I want to share my screen with you guys. trying to share my screen. Sorry. Alrighty. So the first thing we're going to do here is a little matching activity. I'm going to do this on present mode, even though it's very very easy. So I'm going to go ahead and show you for this first one. I think there's like 6 or 7 slides in all. And on the left-hand side is all examples of some of these terms. And on the right-hand side, we have several terms to choose from. Now on each slide, you're going to have much more words to choose from than just the 3, obviously. And I'm going to open the chat here so that I can see if you guys are typing answers. Just noticed that my camera is not on for some reason. Stop my video. But now I want to restart my video. Okay, there we go. So for each one, it's going to be one of these over on the right-hand side. So there's 20 in all. The first one, all students with grades below 60 need to stay for extra help. John's grade is below 60, therefore John needs to stay. Which of these on the right-hand side would that be? Induction, deduction, syllogism, panegyric, polemic, or exhortation? We've got a guess for D, panegyric. Any others? Any other guesses? Got a guess of syllogism. Any others? I'm not saying either of you are wrong yet. Also a guess for syllogism. That is correct. It is a syllogism. And this one works out like if you do a syllogism using inductive reasoning, it doesn't always have to be accurate, but this one is. It's just that format. Now the second one could also be syllogism. It's in that format, but hint, it's not. John is a grandfather. John is bald. Therefore, all grandfathers are bald. What would that be an example of? Other than syllogism. Induction. Yep. You guys are private chatting me. I'm not just like giving out answers. It is induction. Yeah. It's formatted like a syllogism, so it counts for that too. But you can tell it's not, it doesn't pan out. The logic doesn't work. And also we're starting from a more specific, like we're talking about John specifically, and then the final conclusion we come up with is more general. All grandfathers are bald. Okay, the third one, John Mulaney has an entire sketch about how insane and abominable the cost of higher education in America is. What would that be? We know it's not induction or syllogism. Would that be deduction, panegyric, polemic, or exhortation? He's talking about how terrible it is. Got a guess for F, exhortation, which would be urging the audience to do something. Any other guesses? All right, I'll give you a hint. It's not F. So you've got only a couple more options there. E, polemic. Yes, it is polemic. When you're speaking out against something, and he's talking about how terrible it is that college costs so much.
Miss McCullen, I didn't mean to put F. My keyboard's been acting funny all day, so I was trying to see if it still works.
All right, fair enough. Okay, this one I have specifically said because I looked it up in class one day. We lead not just by the example of our power, but also by the power of our example. That's a thing that Joe Biden said in his inauguration speech, and it's an example of one of these things. Victoria got it. Chiasmus. Yes, perfect. Number 2, because she played, it's actually like number 5 or something, but they're all 1, 2, 3 on each slide. Because she plays a dumb character on the show, she's probably not very smart in real life. What would that be an example of? Fallacy. David got it. Yep. Very good. Several of y'all are getting it. Yep. That logic does not work out. Number 3, it was the best of times. It was the worst of times. What would that be an example of? Got a guess of F? Anaphora? Any other guesses? We can get a hint. Those two things sound like they would be the opposite of each other. Not aphorism. Y'all are all warm. Okay, if you've got two parts of the statement that contradict each other, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. That's going to be an example of antithesis, antithesis against the argument. So it kind of doesn't work out, or it makes you question anyway. What does that even mean? It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. How could it be both? Okay, 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. I'm gonna give you a hint on this one. This is not really like a cliche. It's specific to the characters in Animal Farm. So we have 2 words that are really similar, or they mean really similar things, but one is like sort of a general rule that anybody could live by that is very like cliched, and the other word is very specific to a certain person saying it or a certain group. What do we think that would be an example of? Maxim. Yes, good job, Victoria. Okay. This is from a British poem by William Blake. In every cry of every man, in every infant's cry of fear, in every voice, in every band, the mind-forged manacles I hear. That's hard to say. It's almost a tongue twister. Anaphora. Yep, Victoria got it right away. Perfect. Okay, number 2 on this page. Jesus's Sermon on the Mount is intended to teach his followers how to live righteously. Which of these would be? E, didactic. Yep, AJ got it. Great. Oh, happy dagger, this is thy sheath, there rust and let me die. This is Juliet talking. Apostrophe, yes, A. Great, 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 great. Okay, the underlined part of this one is important. Miss McClellan, the English teacher, was making her class learn rhetorical terms. What is that going to be an example of? Deduction, induction, syllogism, appositive, aphorism, addendum, or apostrophe. We've got the underlined part. Yes, a positive. Good, good, good. Okay, when investigators look at a crime scene, they collect evidence and assemble clues in order to formulate a specific theory. So what kind of logic might that be? Deduction, good. Victoria and AJ are on this today. My Ted Bundy book has a lot of interviews, crime reports, and photos included after the main text. What would that be an example of? This stuff that comes after the main text. I've basically given it to you there. Or maybe I haven't. Addendum. Yes, that's an addendum. Which, by the way, I do have a Ted Bundy book. It does not have addendums in the back. I just decided I didn't want to use the same example from Columbine, and it would make sense if it did have addendums. Okay. Several people spoke at the man's funeral about his intelligence, sense of humor, and fierce friendship. What would that be an example of? And I kind of wish I'd chosen something else. It is a panegyric, yes. I wish I'd chosen something else just because I feel like the only example that I've given or that you guys came up with is just like a eulogy at a funeral. And it doesn't have to be that. It's any kind of speech that's in praise of someone. So like if somebody is getting like a lifetime achievement award or something like that, that would be a good example. Or it doesn't even have to be anything like that. It doesn't even have to be like from a person or like about a person. It could be it's so hard to think of examples on the spot sometimes. If you wrote an article about how great charter schools are, then that would be a panegyric about charter schools. Okay, Yoda, the way that he says this, named must be your fear, before banish it you can. What thing are we going to be dealing with? Syntax, yes. Okay, Julius Caesar, the play, not the guy, but it is a play about the guy, contains a line about a clock striking the hour. Mechanical clocks were not invented until much later after Caesar's era. So what would that be an example of? It's not juxtaposition. That would be more like yes, anachronism. It is anachronism. I'm trying to think of how we could sort of spin that into juxtaposition. If he said the line about a clock while he's standing next to a sundial, that would be an interesting use of juxtaposition. Okay, last one. This is a Game of Thrones reference, and it's fine if you haven't seen it. You don't need to understand this. But during Tyrion Lannister's speech at the Battle of the Blackwater, he tries to rally the men to fight to save their own homes and families rather than fighting for their king's honor or for riches. And he says, those are brave men knocking at our door. Let's go kill them. He is trying to rally the troops. Would that be panegyric, exhortation, polemic, or maxim? Exhortation, yes. I was just going through there. Did we have one for juxtaposition? Am I crazy? I just want to go through here real quick. Maybe we don't. Somehow. Oh, we missed this one. Okay. I just skipped right over it. Okay, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. What would that be an example of? Juxtaposition, a positive, panegyric, aphorism, anaphora, or hubris. On this one, I was kind about it and didn't include both this word and the other word that's really similar to it. That's a really common phrase, kind of a cliche. Any ideas? You got a 1 in 6 chance of getting it right here. All right, let's come back to it then. The second one here, Victor Frankenstein believes that he alone possesses the power and intelligence to create life, but the result of his experiment is a vicious monster who destroys his life. What would that be an example of? Starts out thinking he is so great, he possesses all this power and intelligence, but it leads to his downfall. So what would that be an example of? Hubris, yes. incredible hubris. All right. This is the last one. I mean, we'll go back to the first one on this page, but this is actually the last one. Nick Carraway, this is from The Great Gatsby, has a tiny shack right next door to Jay Gatsby's opulent mansion in West Egg, which serves to highlight the contrast between their lifestyles. Juxtaposition. Yes, those two very different things pushed right up against each other. So bird in the hand is worth two in the bush is either going to be a positive panegyric, aphorism, or anaphora. What do we think? The one that's like a cliche. Aphorism. Yes, good. Okay. So we're done with this. And I did put that on Canvas, but I don't know it'll do you that much good because it doesn't have answers on it. It's just the slides. What is happening? Okay. Yeah, I wanna reopen those 14 tabs. I always have so many tabs open at any given time. Okay. So we have a Kahoot here. It is long. It's 40 questions. It's a definition for each one and an example for each one. We'll do it. I will, I mean, you got 20 seconds for each question. I think that'll probably be fine. Or I'll try to. We're going to try to do it. Being a little goofy. And once we do the Kahoot, we'll be done for today. I've posted both of these things on Canvas so you guys can use them to study. I have confidence in some of you. Those of you who are giving us a lot of answers today, I feel pretty good about how y'all will do on the quiz tomorrow. But let's do just a little bit more review to try to get ready for that. Boy, the Kahoot music is so quiet today. It's I. It is I, Aurea. We still got everybody with us? We got everybody with us. Waiting on a couple to get in here. There's Marilyn. All right, a few more. Oh, we lost somebody. We lost AJ. There she is. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start because I don't wanna waste too much time just waiting around. All right. This is the definition, the repetition of a word or phrase at the beginning of successive clauses. Anaphora, anapest, aphorism, or onagastyre. Sometimes I forget the answers that I put. Nice, anaphora, yep. I was about to say like, but the example might be in here later. I don't wanna risk it. I have a dream that one day, my four little children, I have a dream that one day in Alabama, oh boy, this one should be easy. Don't think I'm tricking you with this. Nice. Yes, anaphora. I'm so glad now that I didn't say, after the last one, I was going to say, like the I Have a Dream speech, but you guys got it anyway. When two opposite ideas are put together in a sentence to achieve a contrasting effect, paradox, oxymoron, contrast, or antithesis. Yes, good. Yeah, think about what's from our list. I can totally understand why you would put paradox or oxymoron, but think about our words. None of these are going to be out of left field. They're all from the list. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. You just did this one. Antithesis, aphorism, paradox, or hubris. I have a horrible suspicion that this has not been, I didn't ask it to mix up the letters or the questions. So I'm so afraid that it's going to be, hang on guys, I just want to check this. I don't know if I can tell from here. I can't. Well, y'all gonna have an easy time of it because I'm not gonna make you start over. A statement of truth or opinion expressed in a concise or witty manner. Maxim, axiom, aphorism, or syllogism. Aphorism. Okay. Just kind of looking at what you guys' answers are. Aphorism. One person got it right. It was Victoria. Well done. Don't judge a book by its cover would be an example of, very difficult. Maxim, aphorism, slogan, or colloquialism. Yes, of course. Perfect. Kyle coming up in the ranks. A short, pithy personal statement expressing a general truth or rule of conduct. Aphorism, axiom, colloquialism, or maxim. Maxim, great. This is a thing my dad says, wish in one hand, crap in the other, and see which one gets full the fastest. Words to live by. Maxim, aphorism, addendum, or chiasmus. Yes, good. Specifically for my father. Like, I don't know a lot of other people who say that. It's just something that I heard from him growing up. Rules to live by. But you're free to adopt that phrase if you so choose. When a speaker addresses someone who is not present or dead or speaks to an inanimate object, that would be a soliloquy, an appositive, an apostrophe, or a side. Nice. I kind of want to talk about what the other things mean, but I'm not going to. Yeah, just keep in mind that if it's not on the list, it's not going to be an answer. Oh, happy dagger, this is thy sheath. We just did this one too. There rust and let me die. A couple people right offhand think they know it. They should. Perfect, everyone now. Intended to teach, particularly intended for moral instruction rather than for entertainment. That'd be deduction, didactic, appositive, or polemic. Polemic. Didactic. All right, so fables or sermons would be examples of something that is didactic or a polemic or a panegyric or chiasmus. that one is didactic. Yes. I see that some of you didn't understand what I said earlier about why this should be easy. Excessive pride or self-confidence. In Greek tragedy, it could be a character's ultimate downfall. Chiasmus, panegyric, polemic, or hubris. Hubris, good. So then our example about Victor Frankenstein, what would that be? We just did this one in the other thing. Definitely have a word in here that is not on the list. Good. Everybody who voted knew that one. Voted? Played? The arrangements of words and phrases to create sentences. Fallacy, diction, syntax, or scansion. That's a word you probably never heard before in there. Syntax. Yep. And diction is like, for the one person who chose that, it's like the specific word choice, but not necessarily the arrangement. Just to clarify a little bit. Mourn them, do not. Miss them, do not. Attachment leads to jealousy. The shadow of greed, that is. Is that inverted syntax? Is it an anachronism? Is it anaphora? Or is it chiasmus? Fun word to say, chiasmus. Chiasmus. Good. Inverted syntax. Yep, that's some more Yoda stuff. He's the easiest way to teach syntax, in my opinion. An instance of two elements being placed close together for contrasting effect. Oxymoron, juxtaposition, antithesis, or paradox. And remember, if it's not on the list, juxtaposition. Good. I was worried some of you were going to put antithesis, but you all knew exactly what you were doing. Nick lives in a tiny shack right next to Gatsby's mansion, which highlights their differences. Paradox, juxtaposition, anachronism, or hubris. Beautiful. You're all figuring out the trick on this. A method of reasoning from the general to the specific. I thought that one might foul us up a little bit. Yep. Deduction is general to specific. Is that the type that scientific method uses when they test hypotheses? What type of reasoning? Brilliant. Brilliant, and I think you've also figured out the downfall of this quiz. A conclusion reached from reasoning from specific to general. Induction, deduction, invection, or syllogism. Yes, great. Harold is a grandfather. Harold is bald. Therefore, all grandfathers are bald. Tried to make that easy by not including, yes, good, by not including syllogism as an option. A form of reasoning that joins two or more premises to arrive at a conclusion. Induction, exhortation, fallacy, or syllogism. Great. You're on a roll now. All men are immortal. John is a man, therefore John is mortal. Syllogism, yep. It didn't include deductive reasoning because that would be deductive, starting from general all men to John, and specifically that John is mortal. An item of additional material added at the end of a book, article, or other publication. Appendix, addendum, index, or syntax. Good, good. And an appendix could be an addendum, but just remember that that one's not on our list. The U.S. constitutional amendments would be an example of this thing. Think about that one. Yeah, they are addendums because they were added, and I don't know when's the last time we had a new one added, but
It's supposed to be updated every 10 years.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Huh. How many are there? Do you know?
I don't know, but I know they're supposed to be updated every 10 years, and we haven't it in like 200.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah, so the Constitution is like the original document, and then each of the amendments is a new addendum at the end of it. So you have to change things and fix things. A noun or a noun phrase that's followed by another noun or noun phrase that renames or identifies it. That would be a positive, apposition, addendum, or apostrophe. It's a little tricky with this one. Yeah, they're the same thing. A positive and apposition, same thing. Just a different ending to the word. The veterinarian took time to explain the obesity scale to me and Fluffernutter, my hamster. A positive, yes. I do not have a hamster named Fluffernutter, sadly. It's a great name for a hamster. A strong verbal or written attack on someone or something. A written attack. Polemic, yes. Good. Victoria's gotten all of them right. Jonathan Swift's essay, A Modest Proposal, he criticizes the British government. He says they're terrible, the way they're handling things is terrible. Although technically, good. Technically, I didn't give you enough information on this one to have gotten a different answer, but it could be an exhortation too. If you guys haven't read A Modest Proposal, their whole thing is like, he's criticizing the British government for overpopulation and for how many starving people they have in Ireland. And the way that he says they should do that is by eating all their babies. It would help both situations. So he's exhorting the Irish people to exhort their to eat their children. We're actually going to read that later on.
Why would he say that?
It's meant to be a satire, just to kind of draw attention to the fact that, like, hey, this is an insane solution, but it would fix things. So maybe if I can come up with this insane solution, could we potentially think of some easier ones, like some that make sense? We'll get into it more when we do. We'll do satire later on. A public speech or published text in favor or praise of something or someone. Polemic, exhortation, panegyric, or eulogy. Good, panegyric. And a eulogy could be a type of panegyric, but it's not always. All eulogies are panegyrics, but not all panegyrics are eulogies. The eulogy that Margaret Thatcher delivers at Ronald Reagan's funeral. What would that be? Very difficult.
Margaret stature.
Good. Almost everybody got it right. Yeah, that's a panegyric. Ooh. An address or communication emphatically urging someone to do something. Is that exhortation, fallacy, induction, or didactic? Yeah. Exhortation. Emma Gonzalez's speech asking for gun control reform after a fatal shooting at her school. Would that be a polemic, a panegyric, an exhortation, or a pathos? She's asking for gun control reform. Good. Urging the government to do something about it. Two or more causes are balanced against each other by the reversal of their structures. Would that be anaphora, syntax, juxtaposition, or chiasmus? The reversal of their structures. All right, that one was one of the harder ones. Chiasmus, yeah, that's the one with the Joe Biden thing. I know that that's not an example on here because he just gave it in January, and I wrote this test like 3 years ago. They don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care. Is that inverted syntax, anaphora, antithesis, or chiasmus? Yes, of course it is. Chiasmus is honestly, like, I get why some people got the definition wrong, because it is kind of one of those things that it's easier to identify it when you see it rather than to explain what it is. Even when you read the definition, it's like, a thing appropriate to a period other than that in which it exists. Chronology, anachronism, syntax, or fallacy. Anachronism, good.
It's 2:00.
Thank you. The Geico commercial says, so easy a caveman could do it. Would that be maxim, chiasmus, juxtaposition, or anachronism? This commercial for auto insurance. Yes, anachronism. So as a commercial for car insurance, and they're talking about cavemen, which cars didn't exist when cavemen did. I haven't seen a Geico caveman in a while, though. A mistaken belief, especially one based on unsound argument. Is that induction, syllogism, fallacy, or hubris? Good. And lastly, Martin Sheen played the president on TV, so he would probably make a good president in real life, too. Good. See who's on our podium. Arya, Kyla, and Victoria. Very nice. Good job, folks. Our hardest one would be aphorism. So make sure you study that one. But 80% correct, that's pretty good. For those of you who didn't pick up on it, that should have been really easy because every example was an example of the word we had just defined. And also, if you had your list open, it was in order. And if I didn't realize that ahead of time, I wouldn't do that again. But too late now. Okay, so we have only a few minutes left, so that actually took longer than I thought it would. Just make sure that you study. Both of those things are on Canvas, and we will It's just, my screen just got messed up. We'll have our quiz tomorrow. So I will see you guys then.